and welcome. I'm joined by the lovely Helen today, who has been working with us since June. Helen, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to chat with you about your journey.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's been it's really opened my mind actually, and I love talking about it. So it's lovely to be able to share it with you, Emily. We haven't spoken for about 3 or 4 months since I
I
started the
know.
program because I've had the lovely Jamie as my coach. So
Yes,
it's a lovely chance to check in with you and let you know how it's going, and hopefully share some things that might be helpful for the other people who might be thinking of joining. So yeah.
amazing. Okay, so Helen, a question for you initially. What was your reason for reaching out to us? What did you feel you needed help with?
Okay, well, I was getting to a certain age, which many of us, or we do eventually, and I'd found that over the last couple of years, certainly I'd noticed as hormone shifts in my mood, and that had also impact shifts in how I was treating myself and my body. And I'd sort of been dealing with it for a while, but I think you get to a point where, certainly at my age, you start to look ahead and you start to think, you know what, I really want to make the most of my life. I have a very busy life. I have a very busy family life as well. I have a very busy job. And actually, I was just feeling so much fatigue. I just thought, I love everything I do. I want to get the most out of it. And I don't feel like I am right now. And I knew that part of that was just a perception of myself in my body, and the fact that I didn't feel like I was healthy enough. I didn't feel like I was fit enough. I didn't feel like I was fueling myself well enough. So those peaks and troughs of, blood sugar spikes and all of that just meant that I had some really unhealthy habits, and I wanted to change that so that I could set myself up for a really happy, healthy future ahead. And it just came at the right time. I noticed one of your posts on LinkedIn that appealed particularly around the hormones. And I think that's the thing. I've dieted in the past. I've been successful in the past. But I think what I hadn't recognized until recently was the extent to which those hormone shifts really impact on your ability to lose weight and your ability to build muscle mass. So I really wanted some of the science behind that as well. And from what I saw from your post, it sort of fitted what I was looking for. I think the other thing I've been very aware of is we have type 2 diabetes in my family. And again, I'm at the stage in my life where I want to make sure that I'm doing all the healthy habits to avoid any kind of preventable diseases and issues that might crop up health-wise.
Yeah, and I remember when we had that initial consultation, you were spinning so many plates and looking after everybody else. Sometimes it's a scary thought in the sense of, actually, I want to take some time for myself, and how do I do
Yeah,
it, and how do I create those boundaries?
yeah.
But you'd obviously got to that position at that point where you were like, I need to do something about this. I want to actively make a change.
Yeah, and I think I'd noticed that it was impacting on what I was able to do for everybody else. That was the thing. And it's all very well putting other people first, but eventually, if you don't put yourself first, then your ability to be the best mum, partner, daughter, colleague, whatever, that's really impacted by how you are. So you've got to make sure that you're feeling good in yourself and your skin, and that you are treating yourself well enough to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so if we fast forward some months ahead,
Mm.
tell me, what have you discovered through the experience?
I think what I found is that what I set out to initially get from the program, it's just become so much bigger. I didn't really realize when I started the actual benefit I would get. I have managed to change my habits, which has been brilliant. So I definitely feel like I'm treating my body better in terms of the nutrition I'm giving it, the movement and the activity I'm giving it, so that I can feel fitter and healthier and stronger. So that's all brilliant. But I think what's come alongside that is a huge shift in how I perceive food and eating, which has just really raised my confidence about the fact that not only am I able to manage how I'm eating now in a really healthy, positive way, but also I feel really confident that as and when the program eventually comes to an end, this is a change in lifestyle for me.
Yeah.
This is a long term. This is not just 6 months with Jamie, my wonderful coach, helping me through these 6 months. This is definitely shifted my mindset. And I think it's really changed how I've perceived my body as well. I'm no longer obsessed with losing weight. I'm no longer obsessed with calories. It's just gone out the window. What I love is the fact that I'm now able to celebrate what my body is, I've recognized we are not born to diet. We're not born to all be the same size and shape. We're all so different. And actually, therefore, what our body needs and what our body looks like when it's healthy is very different as well. So all of that has come around with it. And that's just been incredibly liberating. And I think, it really, really has. And every other program I've tried has been a limiting one. This has been absolutely liberating, empowering, and I just feel like I'm living my best life now. So it's great.
Gosh, I love it. And often, you'll say, or when I go through these consultations, it will always be, I want to lose some weight, and actually we have to focus on finding contentment and peace from within, and actually translating these habits. And then weight loss always comes as a byproduct of that. But actually, let's find peace, and we have to nurture the body instead of diet the body. And actually, when you start fueling the body sufficiently, you'll create the outcome you want to create in regards to the visual changes that you want to generate. And I do believe this is a period in life when we should be able to thrive no matter what cyclical stage we're in hormonally, but it's about letting go of what used to work and opening your mind to actually, how do I do this strategically? How do I nourish the body? How do I work with the body? And also, Helen, also a big fear around, okay, if I address this part of my life, my health, my job's already crazy busy, my family are dependent on me. Am I going to drop one of these plates that I'm spinning? So what would you say around that? What would your feedback be? Obviously, you've had to make some changes in regards to your lifestyle for this to work, but has the adjustment been okay, even though you are a very busy lady with working long hours?
Yeah, and certainly the first month or so is the hardest because you're changing habits, and habits just take a while to change. And actually, that's the other thing I'd say is that starting the program was a point where I'd realized I actually need some help. I think when you're, successful professionally, when you've done a lot and you've done well, it's really hard to go, this is an area of my life where I do need a bit of help and support. I can't do this on my own. So having that coach really, really helps you through changing the habits. And then what I found is, yes, I had to work hard to build in the time, but once I was doing it habitually, I've got to a point now where if I have a tough day at work, I actually need to go on the treadmill to kind of help me through that stress and to kind of disconnect. And for me, that is around stress management rather than sitting on the sofa with a glass of wine and watching telly, which is lovely, but it doesn't actually help relieve the stress. So the activity, the things that take the time have now become a sort of necessary part of my routine to help me in all the other areas.
Yeah, absolutely. And something you become reliant on and genuinely want to do, which is such a flip. It's such a shift. And actually, if you suddenly the treadmill wasn't there, you'd feel quite deprived, and absolutely. And also, when we were speaking offline, you raised a really great point around, we think we live in a life of equality, but tell me your thoughts about that, because I really loved what you shared on that. And I think it's really important to raise on this.
I think, I guess the other thing again, is that this program is so much more about just food and losing weight. It really, really is. That shift in mindset around kindness to ourselves, I think as women, we think we might live in an equal society, and certainly in the UK we're fortunate in many, many ways, and we are more equal than in many other countries, but there is still inequality in terms of management of domestic chores. The data suggests that there's still inequality in not just in management of domestic chores, but the sort of mental processing to make sure the household works and everybody knows what they're doing and where the kids are and all of that stuff, or who's walking the dog. It generally falls on us, and I think we are conditioned. I think we're naturally inclined, but we're also conditioned to kind of put everybody else's needs first. And I think we need to kind of actually start to give ourselves permission to say, hang on a minute, I do need to come first, because if I'm going to live my best life and if I'm going to be the best person I can be for everybody around me, I need my time too, and that investment is so important. I think we really need to recognise the pressures that there are on us and sort of just take stock of that and be kind to ourselves as well. If we are running around after everybody else all the time, then we're not going to have the mental resources to help change our own habits so that we can be healthier and happier. So
you can't pour from an empty cup. And when you are in a position where you feel, actually, I'm not comfortable with body or with food, it can really have a daily impact, which is so heavy to hold. So it's giving yourself permission to go, actually, I really do want to feel happy. I want to, lighten the load of all these stresses. So, giving yourself that time to be able to address it. Helen, if a lovely lady like you was watching this, perhaps wanting to make a change, what would be your bits of advice that you would, or what would you share if you were having coffee with her today? What would you say?
I would say, first of all, don't hesitate. And I've tried everything over the last 30 odd years. I've never been a skinny person. It's, my weight is something that I've been very conscious of for a very long time. And this is the first time in my life where I feel like I am totally comfortable in my own skin. And I'm not at the end of the program yet. I am still working through it, but I'm really comfortable with working through it. I'm not beating myself up if I have a bad day. So, really, I would highly recommend it. I would really allow yourself to visualize yourself as that kind of person who is happy in their skin, because you deserve it. I would also say, of course, it's a financial investment as well, and that's something to consider, but it is absolutely worth it. The way I perceived it was, this isn't a 6-month investment. This is actually an investment in the rest of my life, because it's a lifestyle choice. So when you think about it that way, it feels very different. And I think about all the lapsed gym memberships and all the other programs I've tried over the years that just haven't had the impact or the change that this has. This is much, much better investment financially as well. So I know it might seem like a lot of money, but believe me, it is worth it. And I just think, allow yourself to ask for help, to realize, you might be really good at everything, but actually sometimes we need a bit of support and help to make those changes. But it is so very liberating and so empowering. And yeah, I would just say go for it.
I feel also as well, when you accept that help, it can actually become a really enjoyable process, and it can be joyful. And when you've got that coach that can guide you and can cheer for you, and it's like a team effort, and it's really, really empowering. So
yeah, I mean, I remember meeting Jamie for the first time, and then within the first week, I think we started the program on like a Tuesday. On the Friday was the first message she sort of sent to me on WhatsApp. It was nothing to do with food or workouts. It was like, "How's your Friday? Tell me your best 3 things." And I was like, "Oh wow, this is a bigger thing than just what you put in your mouth, or
yes,
when
yeah,
you go to the gym." This is
yeah.
So it's been really great. She's been brilliant.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. And when you shared around visualizing, your future self, you're so Jamie's client. I love that. I absolutely love that. Well, Helen,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining me today. I can't wait to share this with other women. You are super, super inspiring, and we're not at the end yet. So
No, I'm only halfway through. I've got so much more progress to make, and I think that's the thing. I'm not always thinking about I have to be there. I've got more progress to make, but I'm excited. I'm loving it. So
yeah, really embedding and enjoying the process, and
yeah,
that's exactly what it's about. So thank you so much for joining me.
you're welcome. It's been lovely to be here. As I say, it's really nice to check in with you, Emily, and see you again. So hopefully it's helpful to other people who are watching this too. So
It absolutely will be.
okay, brilliant.